Hi everyone, welcome back to Cheese and Turtles. My name is Imogen. In today's video, I am sharing 20 things you should know by 20. If you're not already subscribed, make sure to do that, give this video a thumbs up, follow me on Instagram, and let's get started. I wish I'd had this video when I was 20, but the good news for you is you do. If you are 20 and currently watching this, listen carefully, take notes. Obviously, a disclaimer, I'm now only 22, so you can decide for yourself whether you want to be taking advice from a 22-year-old, but I do feel like I've learned a lot in the past 2 years, and these are all things that I didn't know at 20 and that I wish I had and that I've learned in the past 2 years, so make of that what you will. Anyway, the first thing is that you are a lot tougher than you think. Now, when I was 20, I had a lot of doubt in my ability to get through difficult things. I had a lot of doubt in my ability to I didn't think I was very tough, and you are a lot tougher than you think. And obviously sometimes I've learned that the hard way, but I think this is widely applicable to a lot of people. Like, I would say this to my friends, like, a lot of my friends are tougher than they think. And it's not just me, so you're a lot tougher than you think. Right. Number 2, the thing that you're so worried about will be trivial to you in 2 years. This is a perspective that I've gained a lot from journaling, because I'll reread my old journals from like 2 years ago, and I will be reminded of things that I completely forgot. And I've devoted like a huge chunk of my journal to this, so it's clearly really bothering me. And now, like 2 years later, I'm like, that happened and I've completely forgotten about it. So the thing that you're so worried about will be completely trivial to you in 2 years. Now, I will say, obviously, some of the things that I was struggling with at the time, absolutely, are still things that bother me, and some of them are things that I'm still struggling with and still writing about in my journal, okay? So sometimes problems are long term, but most of the time, the thing that you're so worried about now, 2 years, give it 2 years, you'll be fine. Alright, number 3, not everyone means what they say all the time, okay? Lots of people lie all the time. When I was 20, I was very gullible, and to an extent, yes, I still am. Like, it's a running joke among my friends that I'm easy to convince of something, but I think I'm less easy to convince than I was in the past. I mean, you probably lie to people as well, okay? You've told a white lie, right? Okay? So, we've all told white lies, at least. So, you should stop assuming that people always mean what they say, like 100%. Otherwise, you're going to be in for a lot of disappointment in a lot of different contexts. And maybe you're a less naive 20-year-old than I was. Probably a lot of people are less naive at 20 than I was at 20. But still, not everyone means what they say all the time. Right, always trust your gut. If something feels off, it is. That's literally all I have to say about this. A lot of people don't trust their gut, and they should, because trusting my gut has kept me out of a lot of very difficult situations, and ignoring my gut has let me into a lot of difficult situations. So, trust your gut. Don't dismiss yourself for lack of experience. I think this is something that a lot of like young people really struggle with, or they do this a lot and then they wonder why, you know, they kind of hate themselves. You're not any less valid as a person just because you've not had a lot of experience, okay? Obviously, stay humble about what you don't know, because there's a lot that you don't know, and there's a lot that I still don't know, like, you know, I'm going to look back at this video in 10 years and be like, whoo, you had no idea. But anyway, never think less of yourself for not having experience or not knowing stuff, okay? It doesn't mean anything bad about you as a person. It means you just have time to learn, okay? You're allowed to get angry and sad and any negative emotion. I feel like we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to be upbeat, but you don't have to be happy all the time. You're allowed to be angry. It's not a bad thing. You're allowed to be sad. It's not a bad thing. Okay, you're allowed to feel jealousy, and you're allowed to feel guilt, and you're allowed to feel all of those negative emotions that we try and push down and suppress and just ignore, when in reality you should just be feeling all of those things as they come, because, you know, emotions are morally neutral. I always say this, like, just because you feel negatively doesn't mean you're a bad person, okay? You're allowed to have negative emotions. Your curiosity is a good thing, and you should channel it into learning about things you love and things which will help you. So at the same time, although we put ourselves down a lot of the time for not knowing stuff, sometimes we put ourselves down for being curious about stuff. You know, people love to sort of say, oh, you're such a nerd, you know? Like, but that's a good thing, okay? So your curiosity is a good thing. Never apologise for being curious, never apologise for wanting to learn, never apologise for, like, asking questions about stuff. Obviously, if someone doesn't want to ask you questions, get your information somewhere else, but, like, never apologise for being curious and seeking knowledge. This is kind of a practical question, but, like, it's kind of a practical thing, but you need to know it. You need to know how to survive by yourself for an extended period of time. And I don't mean like in a wilderness scenario. I mean like cook well enough to get a balanced diet, clean your house, take yourself to the dentist, etc, etc, etc. You don't have to be good at it, okay? Nobody said you have to be good at it. Maybe you sometimes burn your lunch. if you ask any of my housemates from university, they will say that this is very true of me, okay? Maybe you miss part of your room when you're cleaning. If you ask me from 3 weeks ago, and me now, yes, I miss part of my room when I'm cleaning, okay? Sometimes you call the wrong number and it takes you half an hour to schedule a dentist appointment, okay? But that doesn't matter, because all of those things nevertheless got done, and the more you practice, the better you're gonna get, okay? So just do it anyway. What's the problem, okay? That brings me to my next point. For a lot of stuff in life, done is better than perfect, okay? Doing something adequately is often so much better than not doing it at all. So learn to be adequate, because adequate gets it done. Adequate is good enough, okay? Done is better than perfect. It's said before, I'm saying it again. Your self-worth is not dependent on what someone else thinks of you. I wish I'd had someone to tell me this at 20. Nobody told me this, okay? Your self-worth is not dependent in any way on what someone else thinks of you, okay? I would have saved myself so much pain if I'd understood and believed this properly at 20. I still struggle with it sometimes, but it's much better than it used to be, okay? You have, like, obviously if someone's telling you you're being a dick, then you can listen to them, but, like, it doesn't mean that you're, like, a bad person. It means you just gotta learn, okay? And maybe you've hurt somebody and you need to listen to them and you need to apologize. But what I mean by this is if someone doesn't like you for just a random reason, it doesn't mean that you're bad. It just means that maybe you guys don't work together, okay? So that's fine, and it's not a comment on your self-worth. The right skincare and hair care can change your life. When you feel good in yourself, like, there's nothing wrong with taking care of yourself. I think I've said this in another video, but, like, it's not a bad thing to take care of yourself. Like, I think I considered it a bad thing in my teens to take care of myself, like it's a waste of time. It's absolutely not, okay? Because when you feel better, you will be more confident, and it's better for your mental health, okay? And that brings me on to my next point. Taking care of your appearance is not vain, and it's not a waste of time. Like I just said, okay? You deserve to be cared for. That's the central message, okay? You deserve to be cared for. When I improved my self-care, my mental health and my grades massively both improved. So think of it as an investment, okay? If you can use that as evidence to encourage yourself to take better care of yourself, then just use it. Take all the help you can get. Seriously, there's nothing cool about struggling because you won't use the resources that you've been provided with. It took me so much, like, it was so much of a mental struggle for me to accept help at university, whether that be in the form of, like, student support services, which, literally, it's in the name, student support. I was a student. Why was I rejecting the support? Anyway, but take all the help you can get, okay? Everyone else is using those resources, and they're doing better than you, so use the resources, okay? It's not cool to just refuse help for no reason. And on the other hand, you also need to foster a healthy sense of independence. I now know that I can absolutely survive on my own if I need, and this makes me relax around other people since I don't need them as such. Does that make sense? I don't know if it makes sense, but if it does make sense, then please use this tip. If you don't already have one, try and find a genre of music or a single artist which you really connect with. Now, I have a favourite band that I love with my whole heart, so I always mention them. But, like, I think music is something that can be really transformative and really healing. So if you don't already have a favourite genre or a favourite artist, do a little bit of looking around. See if you can find some artist that you really connect with. I really think it'll help your mental health. This next point is something that I've realised very recently, actually, so maybe this is more of a 22-year-old tip, but you're getting it at 20, so you've got 2 years head start. Live each age as you have it. Don't waste time trying to be your future self, because you'll forget to be your current self. Okay, there's something good about you at every age. Even if you feel like there isn't, I promise you there is, and you should embrace that before it's gone, okay? Sometimes I feel like I didn't live 19 or 20 or 21 to the full as much as I should have done, because I was so desperate to be X self. Like, I wanted to do this and do this and do this, and it was just something that I feel like I should have embraced more, and I'm trying to embrace currently. Not everyone is going to like you, and that's okay, and that's not an indication of your worth as an individual. I kind of said that earlier, but sometimes you're not compatible with someone, you don't get along, okay? Sometimes you're not, like, compatible as a friend in dating, okay? It doesn't matter. You can still have a lot of worth if some random person doesn't like you. It's okay. Even if someone you really like doesn't like you, it's okay. Learn how to do one thing that you really like, which makes you feel confident from a style point of view. So for me, that was winged eyeliner. Now, I don't know if you can see. I am currently wearing some. And yeah, it's not perfect. Like, I'm sure that my wings aren't perfectly, like, symmetrical. But it doesn't matter because I like to do it and it's kind of good enough and it makes me feel confident, okay? So that was my thing, but your thing could be anything, but have one thing which is your thing. I said thing too many times, but you get my point. I have 2 more for you. A healthy amount of risk is good for you. Take the risk. Your 20s are a time to experiment, and you're allowed to mess up a bit. In fact, it's probably one of the best times to mess it up. Don't waste your time being scared to try stuff, or you're going to have a lot of unanswered what-ifs when you're older. That said, not everything is worth trying, so try and make informed decisions. And finally, be your own best friend, okay? Be the person who always has your back. This, to me, is the true meaning of self-care. I know I can rely on myself to make the best decisions based on the information I have at the time. This doesn't mean that other people can't also do this, but don't sabotage yourself, okay? Be your own best friend because you are awesome and you deserve it. Alright, that's 20 things you should know by 20. If you're not already subscribed, make sure to do that. Give this video a thumbs up. Follow me on Instagram and I will see you next time. Okay, go be awesome. Bye!